Hey guys, welcome to Sexy in Toronto City. I'm your host, Beatriz Vieira, and today I got here for you a special guest. One more, of course, and her name is Hannah Spanke. What a sassy, cute name. I love it. Welcome, Hannah. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm so excited for this conversation, and I'm doing well. I'm really feeling excited. That's the only word that's coming to mind. Pumped.
It is exciting to speak with another girl and to the public out there about like things that we have to share, right? Because we have a lot to share. Like Hannah, it's Hannah, can you just tell me a little bit? Like, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and
Okay.
tell me a little bit about yourself, because you are Hannah, and no better person to describe who you are and what you do, and you're passionate about it. Please talk about Hannah. Who's Hannah?
Yes, of course. Including like background or just what I do now?
No, you can talk like background too.
Okay, cool. So currently I am a relationship and sex coach. I help couples and singles both, but my heart is with couples. I love working with couples so much.
It's romantic. It's kind of saving love, right?
Yes. I feel like I'm like literally like a love doctor, like getting in there with wrenches and twisting shit around until everything works better.
Yeah.
So I really do love what I do. And, but I do work with singles also, because, everybody's having sex, everybody has love in their lives,
Yes.
even if it's not in a committed relationship. And so navigating that, unfortunately, for some of us, it's unfortunate, for some of it's not. The very first school of relationships we ever go to is our household that we grew up in. And so we step out of that into adulthood, and most of us don't know what to do. We don't know what's going on. We don't know why love is so hard. And so for me personally, my background is in sex work, in the sex industry. I was a stripper. I worked as an exotic dancer for right under 3 years. And then I transitioned that into just full-time escorting. I kind of took my golden goose egg clients from the strip club and like pulled them out of there to just come with me. So I did that for a long time. And it's a really unique position to be in. It really is, because I had like an inside behind the curtains look at what was not working in all of these men's club clubs. Why were they paying me to spend an hour of my time with them?
Exactly. When they're married and have a wife waiting for them, right? Exactly. And the one important thing that I find interesting is that the wife cook for them, the wife wash their clothes, the wife is there supporting their goals and taking care of the kids. Why they do that to you then when you're not doing anything, right? Just being there pretty. And so that's something to be discussed, and I really want to already invite you to come back and talk about that specific part, because I am so passionate about that too, because I got in a relationship before and I was cheated on. Like my ex-partner cheated on me, and I never understood why, and I think this why it's important to go through. But today, Hannah, we're going to talk about intimacy.
Yes.
Right? Because there's so much like a misunderstanding about intimacy. And I think it relate a little bit with that you did in the past as well. Right? Do you agree?
Yes, totally. Like there's something that's not going right in that department, specifically intimacy, that wound these men up in a hotel room with me. You know what I mean? And so, I got a lot of unique observation of what was not working, how they were handling it, and how it could have been improved otherwise.
That's interesting. Why do you think like men try to escape from their real world problems, which is their marriage and relationship, and try to be more intimate? Because intimacy, there's different levels of intimacy, correct? Do you remember like the to name them? I know it's emotional, physical.
Yes. So I've learned that a few different ways. Like there's a book called The 7 Levels of Intimacy. It's awesome. I think everyone should read it. That defines it in terms of like the depth of your conversation. Like level 1 might be, hey, how's it going? Good. How are you? And like, that's it. Whereas level 7 might be crying, sharing your heart, pouring everything out. Like, this is what happened to me when I was 6 years old, and this is how it affected me. So anywhere in between there, like, are you sharing your hopes and dreams? Are you just saying like, what's your favorite car? Like there's levels of intimacy that actually expose things versus kind of skimming the surface.
Wow. And I don't know why it's so hard for some people to share, but I have to say that I've been in relationships too that I would never say traumatic things that happened to me in the past as a child, because I felt that this person had been brought up like in a very household where, you know, mom and dad still married until today. There was not as much drama, conflict. If I say what I have been through, I felt this person was not be in a position to understand me. I felt like, yeah. So, but then there's a conflict because in my head, it's like, so does that mean that I have to be with people that is as fucked up as I am? You know?
Yep. So I think that is the exact logic, whether it's conscious or it's playing out below the surface, that ends people in those relationships where it's like, oh, your mom's a drug addict, mine too, we share that. And then it's a trauma bond, and then all the trauma comes out sideways and things are toxic, and you know how that goes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So should we kind of like fake until you make it kind of thing? Pretend like, okay, like for example, my dad was an alcoholic and he beat the shit out of us when we were little, and he almost like killed my mom in fights and stuff like that. I would never say that to my partners before. Like I was really hiding that part of me because I was afraid of them to judge me, not me, but the child me. You know what I'm saying? Because I never let that part of my life to define me. But I never felt that I was as close to those people either.
Yep. Makes total sense. Yeah, I think that, let's see, I just had a thought and I don't want it to slip away. I think that just on a super tribal level of like, we are here on this planet because at some point in time, we all relied on each other, and somebody kept the fire and somebody got the meat and somebody, you know, we're tribal at a like a biological level. And so there's always going to be some level of like, I want to fit in. I want to be accepted. You walk into like a high school cafeteria kind of thing. You sit with the ones that look like you know, you sit with the people wearing the same kind of clothes as you. And so when it comes to relationships, we can have a misconception, men and women, that if somebody hasn't been through what we have been through, they couldn't possibly understand, and they couldn't possibly not judge us for it.
Exactly. There's a lot of judgment. And I feel if there was not as much judgment, men and women would be more in a place where they can be really transparent and vulnerable.
Yes, absolutely.
And equal as intimate, right? I don't think a lot of men is gonna come around you and start to like tell their story. Like I had this partner once, and I don't know that after you tell me if it happened to you, but I have this partner once that he met me and then he started to tell me his entire life story, crying everything out and saying that never had somebody to listen to him and whatever, like pour all his traumas all over me. It did scare me away because I was like, hell no, I don't want to stay here. This guy is too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do judge, like we do kind of like, he could have been an awesome guy, but I didn't stick around to figure it out. I scared it. I was like, what?
Yeah. So was it like inappropriate for him to say all of that at the time that he said it, you think?
It was truly like completely inappropriate because it was like 3 days that we met, and then boom, vomited everything on me. I was like, shocked. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of like a backwards way that we don't usually think about as a way that people sabotage intimacy. It's not just withholding information, but it can also be emotionally vomiting on the people in your life to the point that they don't want anything to do with you. That can also unconsciously be playing out a way to keep you safe, to keep distance, because at an unconscious level, you know, people don't want that. And so you show up with that, and then it's like, plays out the same story, and you have proof. See, everybody leaves me. See, nobody wants me. And it just repeats the pattern that was learned at childhood.
Wow. So that's like him playing the victim. Like he needs to be a victim to find somebody that has this feeling of compassionate and like, oh, poor you, boo hoo hoo. And then he kind of manipulated the person with that kind of, yeah.
Yep, the victim looking for the martyr. The one who needs to be needed and the one who can't do it for himself, like coming together, trauma bond in heaven. Yep.
Wow. That I'm glad I ran away.
Yep. Your intuition was like, get me out of here.
Yeah, I thought was too much. So guys, do not share all your traumas, all your stories one shot. Wait for the right moment. But then it's like people are gonna be listen to us here, hun, and say, well, when is the right moment?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it doesn't have to be overcomplicated the way that we often make things overcomplicated when it comes to love and relationships. If you have a buddy in your life that you have there's no question in your mind, who's texting who first? Who should hit up who so we can go get beer this Friday? Like there's none of that bullshit going on. There's none of that overthinking because you're just showing up for a conversation. You're just showing up for a connection. And so showing up with your romantic partners in the same way of just like, I take one step forward, you take one step forward, and just allowing it to be natural without putting that pressure to perform a certain way on it, it's going to create the space for it to actually come up in an organic way that isn't going to blindside you.
What you're saying is makes so much sense to me, and it makes me like, how can I say that? Like, men and women are fucked up. Sorry. Like, what the fuck? Why do we have this like play games, right? Kind of like there are some dating coaches out there say, do not text men first. Let them chasing you. I agree in a certain stand that we kind of have to, because a man has this what I call the hunter, and you know, but like you said, like if we were just there to showing up and build a relationship and we are looking for love and partnership, why do we have to be a hunter and why do we have to be a prayer, you know?
Yes. And I think that the second that you take that step back and like stop having it need to be a certain dynamic and just show up authentically, that's when that exact dynamic actually can happen because both people are empowered enough to be themselves. And so you'll naturally relax into that feminine nature of your own. Hey, can I cook for you? What do you want for dinner tonight? You want me to rub your back when you go to bed? That kind of stuff. And then he will naturally, like, I'll drive, give me the keys, let me get the door for you. It'll naturally happen when we aren't putting that pressure.
Yeah, but I like, you're so right. That's why like now I've been single for a long time. Trust me, it's kind of start to hurt. Like my back hurts a lot, but like my body, I think my body start to feel like, you know, I need to kind of like get some oil on. Because I've been single for too long now. And trust me, I tried to date somebody that's older than me. It doesn't work because their mentality is too rustic, is too like old-fashioned, mind closed, not open mind. And I'm in a place in my life now, especially doing the podcast and talking to people like you that has so much to teach, so much to learn from. My mind expanded. You know, at some point in my life, I was a closed-minded too. I have this kind of box and I couldn't see other than like the things that religion taught me, my family taught me. And now as a self adult has my own judgment of the world. This podcast have taught me so much about being open-minded and not just closed-minded. So anyways, it doesn't work well with me, man that is older, because not all man has this amazing open-minded of the world, you know. And younger than me, geez, they don't have the, you know, chivalrous and romantic aspect. They're just like about the sex. Like they just want to get it like horny and like send you thick pictures and like I have this situation, Hannah. I was trying to build the intimacy with this guy
emotionally.
Emotionally.
Okay.
Emotionally. Because it's all through text. We never met. Okay. Through texting, whatever. And I was trying to ask him questions about him and the things that he's passionate about it, things that he likes to do on his free time. And then we scheduled to meet on a Saturday. Okay. This guy just like didn't stop talking, like, oh, you so beautiful, you get me so horny. When a guy say that to a woman, right away we know what he's after. So I was like, well, it's a good for a future us. Like the intimacy could have, you know, sexually speaking, could be really good if you think that way, you know, and if you feel that way. But right now, let's focus on get to know each other and, you know, but I felt like, I don't know if I like somebody that would talk to me like that, right? Back, especially somebody that wants to build intimacy, emotionally intellectual with, you know? Then things go and get worse when he sent me a video of him jerking off.
God.
So I was like, seriously?
So my question for you, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, for sure.
So in the texting phase, like building up to that meeting, would you say that the interest level that you were intentionally putting out there seemed to be reciprocated?
It did felt that way because he asked to FaceTime, he want to see, but then I was like, is this FaceTime only to give affirmation of what I really look?
Yeah.
To his like image, like, because a man is visual, right? So like, oh, am I gonna go in a date with a cute, sexy chick or what, you know?
Right.
So I started to doubt. Then I lost interest. Then I lost interest completely. And I just like, you know what? Let's not move forward. This is not gonna happen because that's not the type of intimacy I wanted for myself, for you, and for myself. It's so easy to get like sexual attention.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think about what would you say for a man out there, like that you what would be your advice for them not screw up when they're dating? They go in a dating app, they meet a girl, she's looking awesome, she has the smart head, the appearance, and you know, her life together, for them not to screw it over, like to screw up things. What would you say?
Yeah. Excuse me. So the first thing that comes to mind is, it's like a pre-question for that question, I guess, for them to ask themselves is, why are you doing anything? Why are you on the dating app? Why? Why are you looking? Is it because you want the connection? Is it because you want the relationship? Or is it because you want to fuck somebody? Because knowing like, you want to fuck the person you're in a relationship with, okay, you can put that in that pile too, but do you actually want that relationship? Do you actually want that commitment? Because if you don't, I think the number one piece of advice would be to be in integrity. Thoughts, words, actions, they need to be in a line. And if they're not, you're thinking, oh, I need to fuck some bitch tonight, blah, blah, blah. And then you're on here saying, I really love to get to know you. Then your actions, your words, your thoughts, they're all over the place. They're all skewed. Ultimately, over time, that's going to fuck you up inside more than anything as the result. But on the front end, it's going to create a bunch of women who don't like you. Whether you're looking for the relationship or for sex, if you're not in integrity with that thing, everything is going to flop. And
sex is terrible when you just go, like, for a woman, when they go and have a sex with a guy that just are used to fuck one chick every other day. They know, we know, boys, we know. We know that your dick is dirty. We know that.
Yep. There's kind of like a vibe of, this is for me, coming from them when it's that kind of sex. It's like there's something that we're intuitive as fuck. We're women. We know what's going on. You know? And so we can feel that like kind of spidey sense vibe of like, they're not actually here for me. They're here for them. And that is the biggest turnoff in the world.
Oh, like the worst. I had a sex with a guy before that I felt so empty. It feels kind of like a shameful thing.
Yeah.
It feels dirty. It doesn't feel good. And you feel just like, okay, I just want to get the hell out of here and never see this guy again.
Yeah.
You know, and pretty much that's what happens sometimes. You just go block and delete and that's it. You never tell him where you leave or what you do. Like, it's my number one rule. When you start to kind of go on a date, do not let the guy pick you up at your house.
Yep.
Drive yourself. Don't let him know where you live in the first like month. Because then you kind of have a sense if it's a cuckoo head or not. Yep. What be yours like before? Because I think you're in a relationship right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would be my rules for like a first date?
Yeah.
Pain. Well, first a self-commitment of like, I'm going to be myself. So, because we all want to be liked. We all want to frost the cake before we show up and be like, look, this is my best impression for you. Yeah. But it's not the most authentic. And we know that on a deep level, we want someone to show up in their most raw, like, who are you? Tell me, show me. Yeah. And so you got to be willing to do the same. So like showing up available to be seen, number one. And knowing that it's like, you could think of it like an interview. That first date doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You do not owe them sex. You do not owe them a second date. You do not owe them a text message afterwards. Let yourself moment by moment experience it and then make a decision without any of those expectations of like, where is this going before you even get there?
And that's why I think like a lot of men, when they take like, I do not do coffee date, Hannah. That's my number two.
Why is that?
I don't do coffee date. I can do drinks. I can go for a cocktail, but a coffee date, no, thank you. How
come?
No, thank you. Listen, coffee, I can make my own coffee. Okay. I don't drink as much coffee. Like I learned how to drink coffee like in my 30s, but before I hated coffee. And I learned how to drink coffee just to keep me going on my day and whatever. But it's like one coffee, 2 maximum in a day. I just like, okay, people think like, oh my gosh, you don't do coffee day. Why not? Like, why so snob? What's your problem? No, my theory behind the coffee dates is this. Guys go.
I'm so curious.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. And guys can give your comments here. It's all good, but I do not change my mind. I will not go for coffee dates ever again in my life.
Okay.
My theory, oh my gosh, I cannot stop laughing. Okay. My theory about coffee dates is this. A guy that goes on a dating app, he goes left, right, he matches like with like 10, 20 girls in a day, let's say. Okay. There's so much like in the market out there, availability. And it's not like anymore that you go to school and you meet that guy from your neighborhood. It's like internet exposing you guys from Italy, New York, state, like all over the world. Like you have like a vast of a selection, right? I'm a dude. I match with you. I like you more than I like the other 19. Okay. I'm gonna save my $100, $200 to invite you for a nice dinner. I will spend my 2 hours talking to you because I really am interested in you. The other 19 chicks, I'm just gonna pay them a little coffee, $8. If I take them to a Starbucks.
So the coffee date is not enough of an investment up front.
Exactly. So the coffee dates, what is the girl gonna order? Like tea, coffee, or whatever. Like me and her all together. If she gets something to eat, and I am at the Starbucks. Okay, I'm talking about Starbucks. It's gonna cost me what, $20? So actually, with 19 other girls, I can just spend $20. I can afford that. I can afford to then go and have fun and have a number one for maybe chat a little bit here and there. Number two for that. Hey, let's think about men here for a second. And my number one that I was like really into, I will go and take her in a nice date dinner, talk to her and like spend my time, because at dinner you spend time and get to know that person. It's not a hey, bye, goodbye or whatever. It's like you really have a full conversation during your salad, during your main course or entree or dessert or whatever.
Yep. I hear ya. I do. And I can't say I've ever thought about that in that way, but I do agree. It is like, I guess I could see both sides from a man's angle of like, I don't know if I like them or not yet. So I'd rather spend $10 than 100 because I don't know if they're worth my 3-hour dinner. You know, I don't know if I want that investment yet. So I could see it as like a vetting process, but also I could see it as like a way out of like, I'll just take them to coffee. That's easy. And so I think if it's like, it's the energy about it, if it's like, because this is, I can get away with it, like, okay, fuck off. If it's because you're not actually willing to invest at a higher level yet, I could see that.
Yeah, but for this not no, and that's why I come with the drinks. Like if somebody wants to take me out and you know they say coffee, I say no, thank you. Let's go for drinks. Drink is more something that you can sit down there and you can take your time drinking, you know, or even for girls that like doesn't drink coffee or don't drink alcohol. I mean, you can go for a drink and say, no, let's go for a cocktail. You ask a non-alcoholic fancy drink, like a pina colada, but don't put alcohol on.
Yeah.
A Sex on the Beach, but no alcohol. And it takes time for you to have that moment of conversation, you know, and a drink is a little bit more expensive than a freaking coffee.
I see a tie going on here. How much money will they spend on day one? That's gonna
it's just about standards. And my standards now, it's a little bit more like my expectations is a little bit another level, you know what I mean?
As it should be.
You know what I mean? I got the hang out of it, like, because I was like, where was that? I saw something about the guy saying, you know, I'm not gonna invest on freaking dinner, whatever. And I don't know, like the same thing that you're saying. I don't know if this girl really worth my time, if I really want to spend time. But if you're talking with me for freaking a week, texting back and forth, no stop, a week. Oh, come on, you know you like me or not.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. When I'm saying like I see the okayness with it, I'm thinking like, okay, we connect on whatever dating app. Okay, 3 or 4 messages back and forth. Let's meet in 2 days for coffee. Great. No more texting. But if you're building a relationship over the text first, then yeah, totally agree.
Hi, Hannah. I'm like, so I think I'm cute.
You are cute.
I think I'm cute. Listen to this. And it's not always about the money and to pay, okay? Because all guys are, oh my God, no, she wants just like, no, guys, it's not about you guys paying. It's always about also I wanted to connect with you and I want to spend time to get to know you. For me, it's better to plan something that is creative as well. Like I remember it was like during COVID and I met this guy and we talked about like 2 weeks straight and text back and forth. And they said, oh, let's go for coffee. We can do coffee walk. Super cold outside, super freezing. I was like, no, I don't do coffee dates, but let's do this. How about we meet at this park and I will make us the best hot chocolate you ever had. And we're gonna have a hot chocolate made by me and walk and talk.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like it's not necessary about it's more expensive. So that's what, no, guys, it's just about like creativity. You can say, okay, I'm gonna cook a meal, a picnic, whatever. Let's do a picnic. Like, you know, like you can make your own food and you can take the girl for like, now it's warm and hot. I don't know where part of the country you are.
I'm in northern Kentucky right now.
So it's cold or warm?
It's balls hot outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So here it's super warm. So a guy can say, no, I live by the lake, whatever. Let's plan like a nice little picnic or something, a little drink. It's just about like, oh, I cannot do this. Let's go for coffee. Let's go for coffee. Let's go for coffee. At the end of the week, I'm going to be like,
your adrenals are shot by that point. Yeah, I totally hear you. And I agree. It's like, it's not necessarily about the money, but in our society, money is often a good scale of like, how much are you willing, how much effort are you putting in? It can also be not that. If a billionaire takes you to $100 dinner, kind of meaningless, but it's a good measure sometimes. But I totally hear you. It's about the intention. How much effort are they committed on this first date?
absolutely. That's what it is for me. It's like, are you willing to spend time with me? Or you're there just to like, I hate, bye, goodbye, whatever. And I feel that's so nasty sometimes, because I heard like a guy say, oh, I went on a date with the other gay, and then this girl was not looking sexy the way I thought she was fat, whatever, and I just left her there, and I'm glad that it didn't disappoint me. I was like, but you disappoint me just by telling me all this.
Yes.
You.
Yeah, that's
gross.
That's telling of him for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So
totally.
it's also the point where the intimacy, like how much you wanted to invest time in me, it shows me the amount of intimacy we can build intellectually, emotionally, physically. And if you're not willing to spend time with me to get to know me, I'm not interested.
Yep. I agree 100%. I think that should be everybody's standard, not just every woman, but like everybody's standard. And something that if it's okay, can I circle back to something you said earlier about like having that empty sort of sex where it's like either it happens really fast or it's just whatever the situation is that you can feel it's missing the connection. Something kind of on it. So a huge part of my work is rooted in Tibetan Tantra. That's what I've been studying for the last couple of years. It's a big part of my work. So if you can think of any picture you've ever seen that shows like chakras, it shows like a center of energy in the center of the body. Okay. So in Tibetan Tantra, that's called your central channel. So just assuming that's everyone believes that, okay, check. We have a center of energy running through our body, nourishing all the other parts of our body, like a nervous system. So in the female body, there's a shoot off that goes out the cervix. And in a male body, there's a shoot off that goes out the penis. And so in intercourse, it's literally called sexual union for that reason, because energetically, your energy bodies are merging together. And so what that means is all of his unprocessed anxiety, all of his bullshit, all of her insecurities, all of her self-doubt, all this stuff is just circulating between the two of you. And then that's why sometimes you wake up the next day and it's like, like, why do I feel so shitty? Like, how did this affect me that way? That's why, because we're out here just recklessly taking on everybody's energy in that way. And so that's another really good reason for the waiting period, is like, you don't know yet that you want all of their baggage literally inside of you that you can't get rid of. Like it's a shirt, it's going to be in there. You're going to have to work it out.
Wow. So that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good what you just said. Wow. And like a lot of people doesn't even think about that. They just wanted to get it in and get it out and, like just let's have sex. And they don't think about that kind of stuff. And I feel so disgusted like when men just think that it's okay to have having sex with a woman and not even think about what can create on her afterwards. Because there's a lot of women out there, they're so vulnerable. Like I have a friends that they come talking to me like, oh my gosh, we had a sex and I think it was too early. Like I said, how early? Like 2 weeks, and now he doesn't talk to me anymore. And like, why, guys? Why man does do that?
Yeah, with that situation where like it's like looks like a relationship that's getting built, and then you have sex and then it's no longer getting built. Oh shit, what happened? To me, that's just the like expression of that lack of integrity on the men's side of like, what were you actually here for to begin with? Because you probably didn't speak or act that way. And so that's just the integrity piece. But another piece to it that I strongly believe, and it's kind of like in defense of men a little bit, is in our society, they're raised to express emotion, like what? Anger, maybe laughter, maybe. But when it comes to sadness, when it comes to being vulnerable, when it comes to all of these, the whole spectrum
love, to express love, how they express love by buying things for her.
Yep. So it's like as little boys, they get trained to act like a man, act like a man, act like a man. And I think unconsciously that can create a huge fixation with sex as the only outlet that they've ever had permission to connect through. They don't know how to connect. They don't know how to have the conversations. They don't know how to do any of it. And so unconsciously, of course, if they're not thinking it, just go straight for sex because that's the only way they know how to get that little breadcrumb.
Minding. Like, wow. Hannah, oh my gosh. Guys, are you guys listening to this? Like, I know some men's like, oh, those girls don't know what they're talking about, you know, because they get like offended by us saying our minds and speak up the truth. Because if you really go with the psychology behind of everything, all that we are saying come from a good place where you listen to this and say, huh, that's true. What can I do to make better? You know, like, for example, men that do use woman and then, you know, they just disappear, has no integrity to say, you know, hey, listen, I like you, I like to spend time with you, but I don't see a future with you. I don't see that we're gonna go further than just having casual sex. You know, it's why you don't just do that instead? Like, I see my friends crying, I see my friends hurt and suffering because men judge. Like, there was even a guy that told one of my friends, say, oh, I don't like you, you're too easy for me. She was like, what? I thought we are connecting. I thought we have like, you know, a 2 weeks in and everything was naturally happen. And then he just said, no, you're too easy for me. Like, really?
Yeah, that is the like utmost immature expression coming from him. Like, that's as immature and playing games same level of like, you texted me first too many times, so I'm out. Like, are you fucking 12? You know, like, grow up with
exactly,
that kind of...
exactly.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I love that. I love the fact, and I like, I know I have this kind of like male energy too much because I take the things on my hand and I do the first move or I do, and my mama was like, you know, you need to kind of act like more like a woman. Like and I say, Mom, but I do. It's just like, you know, I can take the step and message it to, or just like, and I'm very open about my feelings. If I feel like you're rejecting me, I would come up straightforward and say, did I offend you? And that's that shocks some men because they're not expecting a woman to come to them and say, did I offend you? Why are you not talking to me? Why you kind of, you know, different now? What's happening?
Yeah. Because they're not, it's like the requirement to actually communicate at that level is not usually on them. And so when it is, it's like, what the fuck? They don't know how to handle it. Totally.
So what else would you say for men that are out there and they are, you know, going towards like apps and to do like a real selection? They want, like, let's talk for the men that really want to have a committed relationship. How to really connect with the intimacy level, because a lot of men thinks intimacy is having sex. And it is not.
So this might sound kind of weird, but this is what's coming to my mind, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Sure. When you were pre-puberty, what did you need from people? That's it. Ask yourself that question. Did you need their, like, what's the actual answer to that question? You needed their attention. You needed to know that they cared. You needed people to listen to you. You needed to be held. Like all of these things that have nothing to, ooh, I hit something, have nothing to do with genitals. That was all, like all of those needs were the only needs you had up until genitals woke up, and then you like focus all your energy there, partially because our society kind of tells you to. So the advice piece, the piece of advice there, I guess, is to notice, for one, start paying attention to your own mind. Notice how much you are thinking about sex as intimacy, and ask yourself, what else feels intimate to me? Would it feel, so I really like this breakdown. I don't remember where I heard this, but intimacy broken down as into me, you see. And so it's like, where can you open that window and show a part of yourself that feels slightly uncomfortable to tell somebody else? You don't need to show up and be like, oh my God, this is the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. You don't need to do that, but you can like slowly peel that back. And that, I would say, is the number one piece of advice, to just be willing to be seen in a way that might feel uncomfortable. Because the second you do it, just like anything else you've ever accomplished that was fucking hard to start, it's going to be a release. It's going to be a relief. It's going to be the down, like easy part. So leaning into that, because we're all human beings, and at the bottom line, end of the day, what do you want on your deathbed? You know, you want somebody sucking your dick? Probably not. No. You want somebody there to hold your hand, that's looking at you, that's like so connected to you that this is life altering for them. Yeah, that's never going to be achieved chasing pussy.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna happen to me, because gosh, 9 years that I separated from my ex-fiance, and this 9 years has been a hell of hard and difficult to date, to meet people. It's just like, you know, when like you get tired now and you got lazy and you're like, oh, should I invest time on this, or should I really get dressed up and just show up and just like I hate using high heels. Should I wear high heels? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is hard to let people get to know, and it feels like you go all through the same questions. How long you been here? How long you been doing this? La 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 la. It's not like you meet somebody and then you get excited and then like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see him again. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see you two again. And then just kind of go like that. I feel it's such an effort. It's so hard. I don't know why it is like that.
I'm curious if it has anything to do with what you mentioned of like sometimes being the leader, because it just ends up happening and not like letting them lead. And so you may be investing in guys who don't actually qualify.
Yeah.
It can be. It's like, oh, shit, this is happening again. Shit, this is happening again. And so
but then when I don't invest, because like, I don't know. This is so hard. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. to help people out there, because it is hard to understand what a man expecting from us, what we should do, not do. So when I don't do that, you know, and I let the man to do it, like I give you like example, I give my phone number to somebody, and this person invited me to spend some time and go to a boat ride, whatever. But I give you my number. And then this person was a messenger to message me. But I give you my number. I give you my number. I give you my phone number. But he's using Facebook Messenger to talk to me. In my head, I'm like, this guy is not interested. This guy is not interested. And then why? Because even if you do use Messenger, when I ask a question or just send them like a little word like good morning, he'll kind of ignore me for a couple hours and then days. And then I'm go like, okay, fine. Just, you know. And then the weekend came, and then it goes again. Oh, do you want to meet tomorrow? And I was like, dude, you had my phone number. You literally didn't talk to me the whole week. Didn't respond my good morning message. And now you want to hang out on the weekend? Like, that's not a man for me.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? So if I leave the space and I don't go talk and invest myself, I feel that they don't put energy into it either. They don't put effort into it.
Yep. And that is, I believe you 100% because I've experienced it myself too. And literally the difference, I think, the only thing that makes a difference is like such a deep personal decision that you're no longer available for that. That's it.
Yeah.
Like only available for guys who pursue you. Does that mean that you need to be in a box of like, I'm this dainty feminine flower and I can't initiate anything? Fuck no. Do what's real for you. Guys want you to kiss them first. Guys want the moves put on them just as much as we do. And they don't get to talk about it because it's not manly, right? So that's appreciated in a relationship. Yeah. So you don't want to let that go because that's how men end up 20 years married and then divorced because they're like, my wife doesn't even like me anymore because there's no initiation. And so you don't want to lose that. But in the very beginning, they need to prove it. They need to qualify for your attention before you give them, because like, it sounds like the current plan of action is like, if I don't give my attention, they won't. So I'm going to give my attention so that they reciprocate versus just put yourself in their shoes instead. Some man is going to show up and he's going to be like, if I don't put this effort in, she's not going to respond to me. So he's going to show up just like that. And then you're going to be available.
And that's one thing, Hannah, that I learned. And I don't know if you agree with me, but I try to think like a man. Okay. I try to think like a man. With my male energy here. I'm like, I like Hannah. She's hot. She's cute. She makes me smile. Like, honestly, if I see those qualities in her, I know she's a hard worker and she's a good mom and like whatever. And she's just amazing. Other men gonna see that too. So I'm better to make a presence in her life and show up every day and make a presence and show her, hey, Hannah, I'm here. Hello. Hi. Like, even if she refused to go out on a date with me on a Monday, it's okay. I'm going to still be here. I'm going to still talking to you. I'm going to still send a message to say, hey, how's your week going? Is everything okay? Oh, how about your mom? You said that, she was going through something. Did that work out? Did things figure it out? Like, I'm still going to make a presence.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? Because a man is territorial. They don't want another man come around and make like, their game and take the girl that they are interested in too. I don't know. The men on me are talking, so.
Yep. So the thought process is like, if a guy is actually fully interested, he's going to do what he can to kind of like stake his claim so that he like always has like a ticket in the raffle. Like he's trying to get in there. Even if he's slightly rejected, he's going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like because us women, we like that. We like loyalty. We like somebody that is always there. Security, that sense of security, that sense of friendship, that sense of like, wow, this person's really are somebody that I can count on, because whatever it is, I say no on a Monday, I say no on Wednesday, I say no on the Saturday, but he's still around. Even ask me about my family, or he didn't just like randomly comes and go. And like there's guys that they're gonna be around and then disappear for like months, where they have another girl on the side, go and figure it out if that relationship is gonna work out or not. Then when that didn't work out, they come back to and then, oh, it's been so long time I haven't talked to you. How's it going? You know what I mean?
Yep. So you're valuing the consistency, even if you're not interested, because it shows loyalty to you.
Yeah. And it makes me feel like, hey, wake up. That doesn't happen often. You should give a chance. You should go and talk and see a face-to-face, because a face-to-face is everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Completely.
because like, I don't know, there might be a woman out there in my age gap, where they have been going through divorce, where they have a kids, and they have been through some deep broken heart that for them is hard to trust another human being again. So they overprotect themselves, they overprotect their kids, and I feel like they don't want just to go and for the first guy that inviting them to go out, and they go, they are really analyzing who is the right person that she will invest that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like when you are 20 and I was 20, we were gonna go on a date. Who fucking cares? Monday, Tuesday morning, breakfast, lunch with somebody else, dinner with somebody, whatever. You don't care. Like, you just go there and having fun and just show up. Now, like you said, we want somebody beside us when we're gonna die. You know, and the romantic me, the best movie love romance that I ever saw, and it's something that I deepest one for myself, is Notebook, where they kind of at the end, you know, she lost her mind, whatever, but he's there. He didn't give up on her.
Yep.
And that's intimacy to me.
Totally. I agree.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that with trauma, because we all have it in different forms, whether it's from just childhood stuff, heartbreaks, relationships, abusive partnerships, all that kind of stuff. When we have that trauma, there's a new need for us to have an established feeling of safety with somebody before we're gonna feel okay. And so it's like, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you. But this guy, he shows up every single day at the same exact time. And over time, I really kind of do trust him, because as a human, you're going to just naturally develop a pattern. And then that's going to be like, oh, I have something that's reliable. Same time, same time, same time. So I see what you're saying totally, like coming from that place of you've been hurt in a certain way that jeopardized that trust. And so now in order for you to be able and feel confident letting it out again, you have to know that the other person is a safe partner. And the flighty bullshit, I had a girlfriend for 6 months, but oh no, she wasn't that important, how you doing? That is not safe. That is not safe at all. Your nervous system goes, fuck this guy. And the guy who shows up every day at 12 p.m., your nervous system's like, he's
and sometimes if he doesn't show up, then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like, is he gone? Is he like, did he give up on me? Like, you create that little sense of like, oh, I kind of miss him now. And then the girl gonna initiate and say, hey, is everything okay with you? And are you okay? And it just a little tips for you guys, a little tip for you to try to get the girl that you want. Consistency, loyalty is the key. Right?
Yes. To be interested genuinely, to be authentic yourself, thoughts, words, and actions lining up, and to be committed. Just like anything else, if you're going to go to the gym and work out your biceps, you're not going to do it once. You know, you're going to do it every fucking day for the next 2 years to have the body that you want. You're not going to do it once or even 6 times. You're going to do it 300 times, you know? And so it's like, how much do you actually want her? How much do you actually want that future? And how much of your commitment is it worth before you have it?
Wow. That's amazing, Hannah. Thank you so much. I feel like I can do like 4 hours podcast with you, like just keep it going, talking. And like one day I wanted to have like a guy and a girl, like both being coaches, and me kind of like we talking, and then have a guy have his point of view and perceptions, and you know, of what we just saying. That would be interesting. So it's a plan for the future for sure.
Totally down. That sounds fun.
In that note, I wanted to thank you for being here. Thank for everybody that has listened to Hannah Spanke and Beatriz Vieira. If you're not following us yet, please do so. We are at Pod Sex in Toronto City on Instagram and all the other platforms at Sex in Toronto City. And Hannah is at
Hannah Spanke. That's it on every platform.
There you go, guys. And you can go there and say, hey, Hannah, I listened to your podcast with Beatrice and I would like to get help because she's a cool chick and she's awesome. You guys can hear like all the, like she's deep when she doesn't say just for saying, she's go deep.
It's hard not to go deeper too.
I love it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night, everybody, because this is being recorded at night. So, or good day, good morning, whatever. And be safe. Don't forget, intimacy is not just hanky-panky. It's not like that.
Into me, you see.
Exactly. Say that one more time, Hannah.
Into me, you see. Open yourself up.
Exactly. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here, Hannah.
Thank you so much.